everybody, this is Beth McCullough and I blog at stampingmom.com. I'm here most Wednesdays at noon Central Time and I really appreciate you joining me. If you're watching the replay, please hit replay, type replay into the comments, and if you're here live, please tell me you're here and tell me what it's like outside your window. Here in Des Moines, Iowa, it is sunny and it's warming up. Spring is on its way and I'm so excited. So I have a fun fold for you today. This fun fold fits in a standard A2 envelope, which is what we use in the United States. And it's a double step fun fold card. Now, if you don't care about St. Patrick's Day, it's okay. This is a great card to decorate in so many ways. And I'm going to show you exactly how to cut it. Kim, I'm glad you're here. Did you hear you won last week? I need to get your address so I can send you what you won. So here's the card, and like I said, I would love to show you how to make the fun fold, and don't worry if you don't like St. Patrick's Day. But if you need a top hat or like St. Patrick's Day, it's a very fun card. And these shamrocks, did you know Stampin' Up! Had a shamrock punch? I didn't either, but I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so I'll put this right up here, right out of where you can't see it. But to make this card, here's my template. We're going to start with a piece of cardstock that is both 5.5 inches by 8.5. And hopefully I have the trimmer so you can see exactly how to do this. If you don't have the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, it is awesome. It's only $25. You can get it from my store, and it is super useful. Also, if you do get the trimmer, see this yellow strip? It doesn't come with that. Slice 1/4 of an inch off one of your yellow cardstocks. I put a glue dot on both ends and one in the center, and I attached it right to the back side here so that it's really easy to see the measurements on the ruler, and then I can make these fun folds so much easier because you're not slicing from the top to the bottom. You're doing an area in between. So this ruler becomes super important. So the first thing you're going to do is put the 5.5 inch side of the cardstock, the short side at the top, and go over to 1 inch. So you're going to line up 1 inch here and also down here. Then shut the door. The dark blade is the cutting blade. And you're going to set it at 3 1/4. So I'm looking at the 3 1/4 right here, and I'm going to slice down to 7.5. So and 7.5 you can't see. I'm going to move it up. So I'm going to slice it down to 7.5 and stop. Then I'm going to take the cardstock and move it over to 4.5. The left edge, line it up at the top and the bottom again, bring my blade back to 3 1/4. I will put the template on here later too, and if you don't get the measurements, you can always stop and watch the replay. Again, I'm putting it at 3 1/4 and going all the way down to 7.5. Now, these are the only 2 cuts on this card. Now we're going to score. So we're going to turn it so the long end is at the top. And we're going to go down to 4.5. Just a second. Let me check and make sure. It's 4.5 over. I'm going to go down to 3 1/4. Good thing I checked. Okay, so line up the left edge at 3 1/4. And now we're using the scoring blade. So get rid of your cutting blade, and you're only scoring from the top down to the 1 inch. Okay, then you're going to move over to 6.5 and go from the top down to 1 inch over here, and move it over one more time to 7.5. Go from the top down to 1 inch. Now you're going to flip the cardstock and do the exact same thing one more time. So you're going to start at 3.25, score down to the 1 inch, move down to 6.5 over here, score from the top down to 1 inch, and move it over to 7.5. These double step cards, they look hard, but they're so easy to make. Okay, so that's the scoring for that. Now we just have this score right here to make, and that's at 4.25. So I'm going to bring the cardstock back to 4.25 here, and we're going to go in between these two cut lines. So we're going to start at 1 inch and score down to 4.5. And that is it. Now let me show you. Get rid of the trimmer. You're just going to fold on each of the score lines you made. And look at that. It fits so nicely in here. So, what's next? This Happy St. Patrick's Day. This is from Stampin' Up's Word Wishes dies. Super easy. I just cut it out of the gold foil and put it on the card. Now, when you're doing little words like this, you can use the Tombow multi-purpose green glue. You have to be very careful to use a tiny, tiny bit, because that will show when it dries if you get it on the front of your card. Another option that you have from Stampin' Up is the fine tip glue pen. And I'm going to show you the secret to that. So you unwind the white cap, and if you take it off slowly, you can see there's a pin going up, and now there's a pin inside the cap. And the trick to this is every time you use it, in fact, I'm going to have to put my glasses on for this. Every time you use it when you're done, so the glue comes out here. You're going to put the glue on just a tiny bit. But as soon as you're done, you have to take the pin in the cap and get it in the lid. And it slides right in. Can you see that? I'll show you again. You're putting the pin from here into here. And I learned this the hard way after I ruined a couple of these. But this glue would also work well for that. So you're going to put the words on the front. And then the shamrocks. You're saying, where do we have a shamrock? Well, in the celebration, the free punches, we have this 5-petal punch that is awesome. I love this punch. In fact, let me show you. Here's Abby's darling birthday card that I made with that 5-petal punch, but it also makes a shamrock. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and punch out the flower, and then you're going to use your paper snips. There's 5 petals, and I'm going to make a stem out of the 5th petal. So just cut up, and then I'm going to curve over to where I cut up. And you can make the stem as narrow or wide as you want, but just cut up first and then connect it with your petal. See, now I have a 4-leaf clover. So I cut these 2 out of black and I popped them up on a dimensional. This one's out of gold. And then for the hat band, this black card measures 3/4 of an inch by 5.25. And then I made the gold buckle. To do this, you want to cut out, this is gold foil again, cut out a 3/4 inch square and then line up a 1 inch square over the top. And that is how I got the buckle. Inside, we need a place to write, and this measures 3 inches by 5 1/4. So here you have it, super simple. Like I said, even if you don't want to do St. Patrick's Day, this card can be decorated in so many ways. And isn't it great how it sits on your recipient's desk and it can be on display? It is such a fun and easy fun fold card. So I would love you to make one and then post it on here. It would be fun to see what everyone makes. If you haven't done so already, I am trying to get more subscribers on YouTube so I can do my live videos on YouTube. Please head over to YouTube and put Stamping Mom in the search bar and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. I hope you all have a lovely and blessed day. And please join me again next week. I'll show you another fun fold or a box or a simple card. It's just so much fun to make. Have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.